welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into a genuinely fascinating story about a new breast cancer drug. We're going to track its journey from microscopic biology all the way to Wall Street market mechanics. It's just incredible to see how a breakthrough in a lab actually navigates the real world to reach the patients who need it most.
To make sense of all this, we're breaking it down into 5 quick parts: the era of personalized medicine, the science of Gedatolisib, proof in the trials, the FDA's verdict, and finally, financing a medical breakthrough. Let's get right into it.
Section 1. The Era of Personalized Medicine. So, the advocacy group, FORCE, recently pointed out something absolutely crucial. The modern era of personalized medicine relies heavily on biomarker testing. We are way past the days of treating all breast cancers like they're the exact same disease. For patients today, it's really about identifying specific proteins or genetic mutations inside a unique tumor, and using that info to map out a highly customized treatment path.
For example, look at how specific this gets. If a tumor has too much TROP2 protein, doctors might use Datuway. An ESR1 mutation, that points them toward a drug called Vampanu. Or HER2 proteins, which are targeted by an HER2, it's not a one-size-fits-all approach anymore, right? This highly targeted playbook is the absolute bedrock of modern oncology.
Section 2. The Science of Gedatolisib.
Which brings us to the star of the show, a precision drug called Gedatolisib, developed by Celcuity. This therapy goes after cancer cells by blocking the PAM pathway. Think of it as a massive communication network that cancer cells use to survive and grow. It's designed specifically for patients with hormone receptor-positive, HER2-negative breast cancer. And here's the kicker. It targets these tumors regardless of whether they have specific genetic mutations, which the medical world calls PIK3CA wild-type and mutant-type cohorts.
Now, what makes this drug a real game-changer compared to older treatments is how it comprehensively shuts down multiple survival signals. It literally binds to all Class 1 PI3K isoforms, basically every version of these problem proteins, plus mTOR complexes. It's like putting up a massive roadblock across all their escape routes, so the cancer cell just has nowhere to go.
Moving on to Section 3. Proof in the trials.
Okay, biology is great in theory, but does it actually work in real human beings? We found the answers in the Victoria-1 Phase 3 clinical trial. They enrolled nearly 400 adults with locally advanced or metastatic breast cancer, testing a combo of Gedatolisib, fulvestrant, and palbociclib directly against standard endocrine therapy, which was just fulvestrant on its own.
And while the results were striking, patients on the Gedatolisib combo saw a progression-free survival of 9.3 months. Compare that to just 2.0 months for those on fulvestrant alone. I mean, we're talking about holding the cancer at bay for more than 4 times as long. That is a massively significant difference.
On top of that, the objective response rate for patients with measurable disease on the combo therapy was 32%. The control arm? Just 1%. These aren't just tiny, incremental tweaks. These are the kinds of clinical numbers that literally change the standard of care.
Which leads us to Section 4, the FDA's verdict.
Because, let's face it, all that amazing clinical data doesn't mean much until the FDA steps in. And on July 14, 2026, actually a little ahead of schedule, the FDA gave Gedatolisib the official green light under the brand name Revtorpyk, a huge day for Celcuity and an even bigger day for the patients waiting for new options.
The absolutely crucial takeaway here is who this is for. It offers a vital lifeline for adults whose disease progressed after initial endocrine treatments. So it's not a first-line one-size-fits-all drug. It is a highly targeted weapon for a very specific critical need in the metastatic setting.
But, as with any potent targeted therapy, it comes with strict prescribing warnings. We're talking potential side effects like stomatitis, which is mouth inflammation, skin reactions, elevated blood sugar, and embryo-fetal toxicity. It's a heavy-hitting drug, so managing those side effects is going to be a major part of the care plan for doctors and patients moving forward.
And finally, Section 5, financing a medical breakthrough. Here's the reality check. Getting a breakthrough drug from the lab to the clinic costs an unbelievable amount of money. To fuel their commercial launch, Celcuity pulled off a massive public offering, $500 million in convertible senior notes due in 2032. They originally aimed for $400 million, but upsized it because institutional investors were just that eager to fund this operation.
So what are they doing with the roughly $484 million in net proceeds?
First, they're completely wiping out their existing debt with Oxford Finance. The rest goes toward general working capital, clinical trials, and ensuring they have a totally clear financial runway to officially launch Revtorpyk by the third quarter of 2026.
If you look at the timeline, the orchestration here is just brilliant. They locked down the funding in early June, then the stock bumped up 6.6% in early July as the market started anticipating the FDA decision. Boom, FDA approval hits on July 14th, setting them up perfectly for that Q3 launch target. Seriously, it's a masterclass in managing a biotech timeline.
But looking at the market mechanics behind the scenes is fascinating too. Ahead of the FDA's decision, major hedge funds were highly polarized. They were making massive, totally opposing bets on the stock. RTW Investments added almost 2.5 million shares to their position, while NEA management pulled way back. It goes to show how institutions can look at the exact same clinical data and draw wildly different financial conclusions.
And right alongside that institutional polarization, company insiders executed 8 open market stock sales over the last 6 months, totaling about $7.18 million. 0 purchases, just sales. Now, this is a fairly standard move in the biotech space ahead of an approval, but it's always a really interesting data point when observing how the folks closest to the science manage their own financial exposure.
Which really brings us full circle to the dual-track reality of this whole story. On the medical side, you have the precision disruption of cancer pathways, saving lives for critical patient populations. But on the financial side, you have high-stakes capital raises, debt restructuring, and intense institutional trading. You literally cannot have the life-saving science reach patients without the Wall Street machinery funding the trials and the launch. They're two sides of the exact same coin.
So that leaves us with a big question to chew on. As personalized medicine continues to evolve, how will this intricate dance between microscopic biological breakthroughs and high-stakes corporate finance continue to shape the future of our healthcare? It's definitely something to think about as we watch these incredible scientific advancements hit the market. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.